This world in itself is a charnel ground. So I am working in a charnel ground. I am that girl um, that Buddha drank water from, that girl that worked in the charnel ground. I am that girl right now. And in the future, in your great tribulation, you will be that person that Lord Buddha drank water from the charnel ground girl. You will be that girl. You will be that person, because you will start your spiritual mission and you will realize that you are living in a demonically, satanically evil, infestated world with great evil, great trickery, great black magic, great deception, great whoredom, great lies, great jealousy, great anger, great envy. All of those things that you don't want in your life, that are unholy, that are evil, satanic, demonic, we live in that world. And when you awaken to that and realize that this earth has turned into a charnel ground, this earth is a charnel ground, this earth is a graveyard, hosting many, many different kinds of evil things, many different kinds of demons, many different kinds of evil spirits. In the Hebrew system, you can be aware about the spirits of the air, the Nephilim that are trapped in the air element. All of this various types of demons that we have to deal with, we have to open up to, we have to be aware of them. We have to know that they are everywhere, they're in telepathy, they are always affecting us, they're giving us diseases in our body, they're giving us negative thoughts, they're giving us bad dreams, they're confusing us, they're tricking us, they're fooling us, and they have great power on the human body and mind, and they can hurt us, and they can give you diseases, illnesses, they can give you hallucinations. So those beings are always around us, those demonic entities are always around us, various class of demons. So you will realize that you are working in a charnel ground. You are that girl that everyone discriminated in the Hindu system. That charnel ground person is filthy and untouchable, and how dare you drink water from her Lord Buddha. So you will become that girl in the end times. You will become that woman that was working in the charnel ground. And that's what Buddha is trying to demonstrate. That's what Buddha is trying to show. That now I drank this water from a charnel ground, because guess what? Buddha probably realized that he is also living in a charnel ground filled with demons. And well, how is he so different to the charnel ground woman that works in the charnel ground with demons? Padmasambhava worked with demons. How is that any different to the woman that worked in the charnel ground? How is that any different? Padmasambhava also ate corpse and lived in the charnel ground. Padmasambhava basically represents the Vajrayana. So we are within the charnel ground space in this earth, and so you will become the lowest caste. So let's say if I'm a kami and I'm considered the lowest caste, and the charnel ground person is considered a lower caste than even my caste. So you will be, the whole of humanity will be in that lowest caste state. So you'll be lower than even the lowest caste, because you will be that girl that works in the charnel ground. You will be that person that works in the charnel ground, and you will have to gain your spiritual awakening and your spiritual purification in the charnel ground, because the charnel ground is the lowest, because it is the dirtiest, because it is rotting, it is dead things, it is like death itself, and you have like suffering, you have grief, so it's death itself. So that's why it's considered low. You are living, this earth is a death matrix, as they call it in the mainstream, the death matrix. So we are living in this death matrix. We are living in this charnel ground world system filled with demons, filled with death, filled with suffering, filled with diseases, competition, wars. So that is all a representation of a charnel ground world system. And the word charnel also has a relation to the word carnal. So how charnel ground, and you have like carnal, it's like there is a relation there. So these things are there for a reason. So when the fleshly human body is called the carnal, the non-spiritual is called the carnal. So when we are born, let's say within a lower caste, when we are born in like charnel ground system, like when I'm in my charnel ground right now doing my mission, which is like the mother tantra happens in the charnel ground. Like the cho practice is about working with demons in a charnel ground. That's what the mother tantra is, and that's what the great tribulation will be. Will be humanity doing the cho, the mother tantra, in a charnel ground. So you become a person that lives and works in the charnel ground. So if you have discriminated and if you have done water untouchability, you yourself will be in that charnel ground position during the Great Tribulation. So for me, when I look at Lord Buddha's story, I also look at, I also see Pragyaparamita as the girl that was working in the charnel ground. I see Pragyaparamita there, because how like Sunyata or Pragyaparamita has been put down. So how like the carnal charnel has been raised up, and how the spiritual has been stamped down, and how like all the knowledge has been lost. Anything good to do with like God and holiness and scripture learning, healing your body and being healthy, all the good things, all the good food, organic food, all of those things we have lost in this world. So we are all living in the charnel ground. I see like Pragyaparamita as the charnel ground girl, because Pragyaparamita is the wisdom, Pragyaparamita is the purity, is the perfection of wisdom, is the sunyata, is the opposite of carnal, is the spiritual. Sunyata is the spiritual. Sunyata or Pragyaparamita works in a charnel ground, because like Sunyata is like the mother of all, Pragyaparamita is the mother of all the Buddhas. So it's like Sunyata works in the charnel ground, and the mother tantra also happens in the charnel ground. So there's a link there. So you have the mother tantra, the cho mother tantra, they do the cho mother tantra in the charnel ground. You can go read the sutra, the laughter of the Takini. So they do their practice, the cho practice is an exorcism practice. So they do their practice in a charnel ground, in a graveyard, and to overcome the fear and to gain purification from all the darkness, from all the death and all the filth and all the rotting and all of that suffering and crying and screaming, all of that, to experience death itself. That's dirty, that's filthy. And so we are part of that charnel ground system within the Mother Tantra. Pragyaparamita for me, it's like a girl that works in the charnel ground. So it's like unless you overcome the charnel ground, you cannot gain the mother, you cannot gain the Pragyaparamita, and you cannot gain the perfection of wisdom. You cannot gain your perfection of wisdom from up here, from your Brahmanical priest state. You cannot gain your perfection of wisdom from there. The higher caste Brahmins that consider themselves like the spiritual elite, you cannot gain your Pragyaparamita from there. You have to come to the lowest. You have to come to the charnel ground. You actually have to meet the mother in the charnel ground. That's where she is. And you have to meet the mother there, and you perform your Cho Tantra in the charnel ground with the great mother. The mother is not up there. The mother is in the lowest, because the mother is there for everyone. The mother is there for the lowest of the lowest of the lowest beings. The mother is there for. So the mother doesn't discriminate. The mother lives within the charnel ground system, because the earth is the charnel ground, and Sunyata can be, the Sunyata is this earth. The feminine is the earth. The masculine is the heaven. The feminine is the earth. So the Sunyata world system, this world system, is a graveyard. It's a charnel ground. That's why you will see in the Hebrew scriptures that the prince of this world is Satan, the lord of death. Satan is considered death, who Christ, Yeshua, Son of God, overcame death through his resurrection. So the ruler of this earth is Satan, and Satan in a place is called Satan or Shaitan in other languages. So it's the same thing. Satan, Satan, Shaitan. So he's the prince of this world. If you study the Hebrew scriptures, Satan was created by our Father in heaven, and he is one of the angels of heaven that fell and became Satan. He became death. You can just tell by that how this world is a charnel ground. It is run by Satan. It is run by the Lord of Death. He is the prince of this world. So then you have Sunyata that works in the charnel ground. That works, so it's part of the charnel ground, or you can say it's hidden in the charnel ground, or she is the charnel ground. She is part of the charnel ground because the Mother Chode Tantra is done in the charnel ground. So that's what you have to understand in the Great Tribulation, in the end times, that you will be doing your Mother Tantra in the charnel ground space, because the mother, the feminine space, is right now in this charnel ground state. And that's what we are purifying. But at the same time, you also have Sunyata that doesn't distinguish between life and death. Sunyata doesn't distinguish between clean and dirty. Sunyata doesn't distinguish between up and down, higher status, lower status. Sunyata doesn't distinguish or discriminate. For Sunyata, everything is zero. Everything is same. Everything is the same taste. Everything is equal. Everything is the same. And that's like one of the main teachings of Buddhism, is to have that samadhi, that sameness of taste, the same experience for dark and light, not favoring one over the other. You become, so that you become a more prolific, you become a all-encompassing tantric practitioner. You're not just falsely trying to achieve peace and compassion, and that you think you're a elite Brahmin priest and you sit up there in your la la land. So that's delusion, and that's what Sunyata will bring down to the charnel ground. So anyone that's high up in their illusory sky castle, all your elites, they will be brought down into the charnel ground. Mother will bring them down into the charnel ground, and humanity will do their practice in the charnel ground, because we do not distinguish and we do not discriminate between dark and light. We do not discriminate between clean and dirty. And that's like, all of this is taught within the tantric space of Buddhism, not discriminating clean and dirty. The clean and dirty are the same taste, is taught and practiced in tantric Buddhism, which is like Vajrayana, the third wheel of Dharma, which I'm doing now. So you will see like taboo practices when it comes to the teaching of the same taste for good and bad. So they are like taboo practices that might be very shocking for an average human being. So that's why an everyday human being is not even initiated into the higher tantra, because some of the things that the Vajrayana tantric great practitioners, some of the things that they do, you will think it's demonic, because it's so extreme. But it's about, everything is about deprogramming. Everything is about creating that samadhi, creating that flat, leveled playing field, creating that flat ground. There's no elite, there is no like this elite Brahmanical priest, and there is no like this higher status, super educated, ultra rich people, and the rest are just like sheeps. So all of that, the mother will crash. All of that, the mother will bring down into the charnel ground, and everyone will practice the Great Tribulation in the charnel ground as the Mother Tantra chose. So in the Mother Tantra, we do not have high and low. We only have the samadhi. We only have the flat, the leveled playing field, the leveled ground. Because the word samadhi means samma, which samma means just like a plain ground. There's no highs and lows, just a plain flat ground is called samma in Nepalese. So samma is just flat. So samadhi comes from samma. So this samma or samadhi is very important, because ultimately our Father in heaven, his plan is to level everything. So that's the ultimate plan of our Father in heaven, is to level everything. So even the heavens and the earth will be one seed. So there'll be no up heaven, down earth. Everything will be like samma. Everything will be leveled. So that's the ultimate plan of our Father in heaven, to level everything in the Hebrew. And in the Buddhist, they do extreme practices to train the mind in order to create that samadhi reality, in order to create that samma, that flat ground in order to create that. The Buddhists do extreme tantric practices that might seem very shocking and taboo to a everyday human being, but those things are necessary, because when we create even a small distinction between dark and light, like a seed of discrimination between dark and light, that will grow into this massive chaos that we are living in, filled with wars and diseases and hatred and evil and poverty and just ignorant filth everywhere. So that's what happens. So that's why the Buddhist practitioners, they do some extreme stuff so that their mind is deprogrammed from what good and evil means and how we live by the good and evil law. But that is incorrect. And in the end times, the mother will bring you down to the charnel ground, and you will do your great tribulation. You will achieve your enlightenment, your arahat. You will achieve your purification in the charnel ground. And you have to go in and study our disclosure. You have to go in, study our testimony, and everything that we are speaking of is true, it's real, and those things are actually going to assist you into breaking the spell from like the good and evil. I only study Buddhism about peace, about karuna. I only study Buddhism for peace and enlightenment. So all of that will be crashed for you. And all of the other religious programming that we have had, all the false programming, such as the Hindu, the Islam, they're all false religions created by Satan. So the only two safe religions, or the two safe spiritual systems, is the masculine Hebrew system and the feminine Buddhism system. So you have those two, and if you follow those two, and if you understand those two, it will help you exit reality. And you will also have to go in and study the charnel ground. You also have to study the satanic system. Satan, the Lord of Death, his world, which is technology and science, you have to study that as well. So without going into the charnel ground, you cannot come out of this reality. You cannot be like, oh, I'm going to go to the forest and meditate on my own, and I don't care about this disclosure thing. It's so dark and it's so unbelievable. Don't want to listen to these things, and I just want to read the great works of Buddha and be in my spiritual delusion. That won't last for you. That will send you to hell very fast, because you have to understand that dark and light have the same taste. The dark and light, there's no distinction. You're not meant to distinguish, because Pragyaparamita herself is the mother tantra that is done in a charnel ground. It's like the Cho practice is done in the charnel ground. The Takinis, they work in the charnel ground. They offer their body to the demons in the charnel ground. Padmasambhava came down here and started eating corpse because he was performing a high tantra to subdue all the demons. He subdued all the demons. And he is the king of Vajrayana. He basically represents Vajrayana. For me, I think like Padmasambhava is Vajrayana, Nagarjuna is Mahayana, and Lord Buddha is Hinayana. You can map it that way for you to like understand it a little bit better. And you will also see the snake parallel with Nagarjuna and Yeshua, son of God, who was represented as a snake in Moses, the snake that was like wrapped in the cross. So you will see that Christ has been connected to the snake in Moses' story with Nagarjuna. His name itself is Naga, which is like snake, and he goes down to the Naga world and retrieves the Pragyaparamita text and brings it back to the earth. Don't think like Naga is like evil, satanic reptilians. You have to be able to distinguish. They are good and bad Nagas, like they're good and bad humans, they're good and bad angels, they're good and bad gods. Not all Nagas are evil. They protect and practice spirituality. I said Christ is from the Mahayana, and Nagarjuna is Mahayana as well. And Nagarjuna has to do with the snake and his dealings with the snake people, the serpent people. And also you have Christ that was represented as a snake in the story of Moses.